Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Folge Pathfinder Chaos at Noah. Pathfinder ist hier durch. Also zu dem Zeitpunkt, wo ich die Folge aufnehme, habe ich schon die letzte Folge Pathfinder aufgenommen. So sollte ich es lieber formulieren. Ja, Taku ist ja gerade dabei, durch die Gegend zu laufen und irgendwie zu versuchen, seine Existenz zu beweisen. Bei Daichi hat das ja schon mal nicht so ganz so optimal funktioniert. Deshalb, next I decided to try calling home. Despite how hard my fingers were trembling, I somehow managed to select the number and press the call button. None of me had registered this one. I hadn't put it in my safe, so there was no doubt the call would go through. Considering what time it was, would my dad be home? Had my mom left already? Was none of me there? Even if it did connect, what would they even say? Hey, I'm your son, right? They would probably think I was screwing with them, that I was being stupid, and in truth it was a stupid question. What if they said no? What if they said our son Takumi is eating dinner with his sister in the living room? What if the phone call that was supposed to prove I was real actually did the exact opposite? What if they asked, who are you? As the negative thoughts continued to swirl up in my mind, I grew more and more afraid. I didn't want to know the outcome. I was really scared and I couldn't control it. I felt like I was about to go insane. My breathing grew wrecked and I could barely breathe anymore. Right then, the call connected with the phone next to my ear. I prepared myself.
あなたがおかけになった電話番号は現在使われておりません。番号をご確認の上、もう一度おかけ直しください。
Also nicht mal ein Anrufbeantworter. Das tut seiner geistigen Gesundheit nicht unbedingt gut, würde ich behaupten. No one would prove that I was me. There was no one that could. I wanted to die. Raising my head, I noticed Yamanote Dori in front of me, with lots of cars coming and going. Maybe it was for the best that I died. There was no value in fake being alive. I was worthless. Even if a monster did try and live in this world, they would just end up being persecuted. I had neither hopes nor dreams. Also das mit dem Monster, das hat mich ein bisschen an die Geschichte von Frankenstein erinnert, der ja auch an und für sich eigentlich nicht böse war, sondern die Menschen haben ihn für böse gehalten und so ist die Sache dann halt eskaliert. My existence itself was repulsive to people. I wanted to be freed from all of this. If I died, I would be free. After all, there would be no more need to think. There would be nothing more to suffer from. There would be no one to laugh at me. There would be no one to betray me. I wanted nothingness. Mal sehen, was ich jetzt getriggert habe. With my own two feet, I took a single step forward. Or at least I intended to. But my legs didn't move an inch. They wouldn't do it for me. And before I realized, my knees had started trembling. I couldn't gather the courage. Despite how much I wanted to die, the fear of death wouldn't allow me to take even a single step forward. I wanted to die, and yet I also feared death. I didn't understand. I couldn't grasp my own feelings anymore. Did I want to live or die? Which was it? I clenched my teeth, closed my eyes, and repeated to myself, I want to die. But just as I feared, my legs wouldn't move. Seeing the steel cars pass by so quickly, the thought of getting run over by one of those high-speed weapons came to mind, and my body froze completely. In the end, I sank to the ground. At what should have been the end of it all, I finally got to know how much of a pussy I was. How much of a spoiled brat I was. I ended up thinking about what would be most convenient for me. If I can't move from here, what if a car skids on the road and runs into me on the sidewalk? How nice it would be if some act of God like that had me die. Uh-oh. As Sakyata Rumi walked beneath the Shibuya station, and she took out her cell phone. She had walked straight here right after parting ways with Takumi. She then selected the number registered in the address book as Nana-chan and placed the call. They picked up the very next moment.
私、実はちょっとした報告があります。ナナちゃんをこれから助けに行こうと思って。
Rumi had an idea of when Nanami was being held, as well as who had abducted her. A theory she had only come to because she had been in a similar situation herself once before. It was a past she wanted to forget, but it was one she was ready to confront in order to rescue Nanami, no matter how steeped in darkness those memories may be. The reaction of whom she had called was exactly as Rumi had predicted, leading her to inevitably start laughing.
私って信用されてないな。平気だってば。
Both her voice and expression were cheerful, not an ounce of the grim resolve she carried could be felt. To an outsider observer, it would simply look as if she was having a fun, engaging conversation.
昔の話だしね。そもそも私の感情とナナちゃんを助けることとどっちを優先させるかなんて決まりきってることだよ。言ったでしょ。私はあなたの力になりたいって。それに特には関わらせたくないの。
As she said that, Rumi's expression clouded over.
ねえ、ちょっとだけ語っちゃっていいかな。タクにね、いろいろひどいこと言っちゃったんだ。しかもそんなことしておいてすごく自分勝手なんだけど、私彼と一緒に過ごした時間はとっても楽しかったって思っちゃってるんだ。何もかもが妄想でまみれたまやかしでしかなかったのに、学生生活もあの学校に私やタクが通ってることも、大臣と友達だっていうことも、私がタクと一緒にいようとしたことも、タクの存在そのものも。
Little by little, Rumi's pace slowed. Multiple strangers passed her
タク
by.
ってどうしようもないくらい情けなくて、どうしようもないくらい弱くて、きっと普通の女だったら見向きもしないような男の子なんだよ。
As she spoke, she squeezed the hand she had the cell phone with.
なのに私の心には楽しかったっていう気持ちがあるの。なのに私の心にはもっと一緒にいたかったっていう気持ちがあるの。この気持ちって何なのかな。
Looking up, she saw the neon-lit night sky. No stars were in sight. For an ephemeral moment, Rumi stood beneath it. A slight smile rose to her face when she received a response.
さてと、そろそろ切るね。本当に大丈夫だって。あなたは何も心配しないで。私が全部決着をつけてくるから。ね、たくみ。
Having lost all of my willpower before I realized it, I found myself back in my base. I didn't know how I had gotten here after failing to die at Yamamoto Dori. My memory was hazy.
このコンテナって誰がどうやってここまで運んだんだろう。
It was something I'd never even thought about until now, but now that I couldn't help but notice how odd it felt. The more I thought about it, the more the feeling encroached upon my mind. The moment I closed the door, the room went pitch black. Leaning against the door, I simply stood there, still as could be. Inside the quiet room, all that could be heard was the sound of my shallow breathing and the hum of the fan inside my PC. I thought that maybe surrounding myself in darkness would make things easier, since I wouldn't have to be conscious of my pitiful self, but it had the exact opposite effect. Unable to see anything, and with nothing else to listen to, Rimi's cool words from before repeated endlessly in my mind.
あなたは妄想の存在なんだよ。
My own wounds disgusted me more than ever before. I even felt nauseous. I was already a disgusting freak even before this, but if my very existence itself was warped, I was already beyond saving. I wanted to disappear completely. As I tripped over the trash scattered across the floor, I stumbled my way to the end of the room. I turned the lights on, scaring away the dark. I then grabbed the Saratan figure post-awakening version that had just so happened to enter my line of sight and sat down in my chair. I brought her close to my chest. She was really small, and she was really hard too. She didn't breathe, nor did she speak. She didn't have the warmth that a 3D girl had. Und nächste Illusion natürlich. Despite that, she was all I had left. Rimi had left me. I didn't know where Nanami was. Senna had attacked me. Kuropi hadn't protected me. Yua was my enemy. And Ayase was hospitalized. These were the only girls I knew the names of, and none of them would do anything for me. Reality was harsh. I didn't give a damn about a monster. It didn't give a damn about a monster like me. With my trembling hands, I tightened my grip on Saratan, then tighter, tight enough to break her. I wanted to disappear completely.
消えなくたってこれまでタッキーは存在感ゼロだったっしょ。
I felt a sudden pain deep in my chest to think even Saratan would say such horrible things to me.
ひどいことも何も本当のことだよ。消えたいとか言ってるくせに図星疲れたぐらいでへこむんだ。タッキーはさ、この1ヶ月ぐらい調子に乗ってたよね。周りの人たち、特に女子だよね。可愛い子たちとリア充みたく話すようになっちゃって。それまではさ、友達なんて一人もいなくて引きこもってたのに。でも逆に考えればまたその頃みたいな生活に戻るってだけなんさ。
Go back?
そう、戻る。誰とも会っちゃダメ。誰も信じちゃダメ。本物なのか偽物なのかとかどうでもいい。そんなの誰にも証明できないし、タッキーは私だけ見てればいいさ。前はそれだけで十分幸せだったっしょ。そう感じなくなっちゃったのはタッキーに近づいてきたあの女子たちのせいだよ。あんなアバズレビッチどもとはさ、会わない方がいいって絶対。
そうか、そういうことか。
The ones who had gotten involved with me were at fault. It was their fault, Rimi's and everyone else's, not mine. I had become a shut-in again. Starting with Saratan, I would live here surrounded by... I would become a shut-in again. Starting with Saratan, I would live here surrounded by my waifus as a person with no name, an anonymous existence. Sounds good to me. What about you, Saratan?
そういうこと。タッキーは私が幸せにしてあげる。
Saratan spoke cheerfully, from within my grasp, and I was hidden with a strong sense of disgust toward myself, whom had made her do so. I'm such a fucking disgrace. I wanted to die even more than before. Human presence quickly faded from the hospital cloaked in night. Perhaps after taking in all the life and death during the day, it took this time to regain balance. At this time the hospital housed neither the scent of life nor the scent of death, only quiet emptiness reigned. Ben Yasu chuckled to himself as he realized the odd nature of his thoughts. Despite some minor self-flagellation, it did indeed feel especially quiet tonight. It was not yet time for the lights to be on. Leaving the corridor stepped in darkness. There was not even a single sign of any nurses. Immediately after stepping foot into the lobby, Ben was hit with a very bad feeling. There was no logical reasoning behind it. It was simply what one might call a detective's gut. My gut is usually right for the most part. In his mind he believed it to be an oddly superstitious thought. But this may have simply been a way to dismiss the feeling. While the taxi had driven him to the hospital, Ben had attended to call Suva's phone numerous times. But each and every one of them had failed, which only served to demonstrate his junior's precarious situation all the more clearly. There was no time to waste. He had to find the place where Suva was being held within the large hospital and rescue him. All while not being detected by the kidnapper. The linoleum floor would have made his footsteps echo. To avoid this, Ben took off his shoes before entering the lobby. Winter was swiftly approaching at this time of the year. In fact, Ben was ready made aware of when the chill from the floor sent shivers up his soles. Okay, the sound of the automatic front door echoed through the room, followed by the voice of a girl calling out Ben's name. The surprise of seeing her in the lobby put Ben at a loss for words. He hurried toward her in a panic. Beyond her glasses, her eyes were through anxious gazes at her surroundings.
おい、なんでついてきたんだ。
すみません。でも、私。
Ben looked for any signs of mercy, but she was nowhere to be seen. Realizing she had come alone, Ben scratched the top of his head with a concerned expression.
今すぐ戻れ。これは遊びじゃねえんだぞ。
それは分かっているつもりです。
分かってるなら帰るんだ。
Right as he spoke, a creaking sound came from the hallway across the lobby. In the very center of this empty, dark hallway, slowly an empty wheelchair made its way toward Ben and Yua. Then, at nearly the same exact time, someone could be heard running up the stairs.
とにかくユアちゃんは帰れ。いいな。
Before he had even finished giving his warning, Ben had already started running. He followed the footsteps up the stairs without waiting for Yua's answer. Given his typical linguid demeanor, the speed at which Ben moved was like nothing anyone could have ever imagined. Mal sehen, ob wir jetzt schon zur Wahrheit kommen oder nicht. As he followed the footsteps, Ben found himself on the roof of the outpatient ward. There were lines of shrubbery installed on the rooftop, forming a garden of sorts. It was most likely a space of healing for the patients there, but regrettably, as the lights were off, Ben could not see what kind of flowers were blooming there. Given the fact Ben was on the roof, it was only natural that the wind would blow strong, with ragged breaths. Ben quickly surveyed his surroundings. Without a shadow of doubt, this is where the man behind the footsteps must have run, but now he was nowhere to be seen. Was Alet here on purpose? The man had fled for causing sounds that had seemed purposeful. Ben could not think of any other reason for him to have done that aside from leading him here. Ben did not have his gun on him, as he was apprehensive about being unarmed. He looked for something that could serve as a weapon, but to no avail. With a gulp, he wiped away the sweat on his forehead with his finger. Step by step, he made his way to the center of the garden. Here and there, Ben could see a few hiding spots tucked with the shadows of the benches and shrubbery. He put himself into a fully alert state, one in which he could respond to a potential attacker no matter the direction they came from. The garden was set up in a circular fashion, with benches placed around it in accordance with its shape. Ben strained his eyes as he looked at each bench in order. On one of those benches, his eyes landed upon a strange object. Keeping a close look on his surroundings, he slowly approached the bench. As he got closer to it, its shape was made clear to him. It was around the size of a soccer ball. Round and dark, it was a severed human head. Ben, who had investigated countless murder cases involving dismemberment in the past, quickly recalled an image of a photo he had once seen. The bad feeling in his chest grew stronger and stronger. Recognizing the possibility of it being his junior set, vengeful anger and furious rage towards the perpetrator bubbled up from him within. Ben gritted his teeth and drew even closer to the bench. Das sieht mir eher aus wie ein Helm. Kann aber natürlich sein, dass da ein Menschenkopf noch drunter ist. Genau zu sein, sieht sogar aus wie der Helm von Darth Spider. The object did not move a single inch. The wind of the night continued to blow. Then Ben heard a gunshot. He froze in response to the sudden sound. Normally the detective would duck and investigate the direction the sound had come from, but he was unable to even do that, no. In actuality, there was no need for him to do that anymore. Feeling a burning heat in his chest, Ben touched it with his hand. A slippery sensation. Something was flowing out from his body, accompanied by the very particular smell of blood. Only a short moment following the gunshot did Ben's mind begin to register pain within him. He had been shot. The moment he realized this, all strength left his legs. Unable to remain standing, he collapsed to the ground. The footsteps from earlier were approaching him. As his vision grew blurry, he desperately looked up at the person drawing near. A dark shadow with a gun in its hand. A shadow so dark Ben could not recognize its face. A voice came. A voice he recognized. Ben collapsed in a heap, was met with the ridicule of one man, Suva Mamoru. Yep.
お前が俺を
そうっす。いやー、祝初発砲ってところっすか?
As he laughed into the night, Suva casually picked up the object from the bench.
ちなみに先輩、やけにこれに注目してたっすけど、そんなに珍しかったんすか? ダース・スパイダーのヘルメット。
Suva, who had now returned to Ben, had the dark helmet in front of the detective's face in an ostentatious manner. Der Gesichtsausdruck. Ja. Suva ist böse. As Ben laughed, his vision grew blurrier and blurrier. Both his arms and legs felt extremely cold. His chest hurt, but not just from the physical pain. He also felt an intense gaze upon him, but he had no more strength to conclude whether it was Suva's or someone else's. Knowing that his life would last only a few more minutes, Ben forced his growingly heavy body to face upward. With arms and legs outstretched, only the night sky lay above him. A sky, overcast, with no stars to be seen. But even if there were any left in the sky, Ben had long since lost the ability to see them. After a few coughs, the taste of blood spread through his mouth.
そうお前はバカだ。まだガキでどうしようもないくらいのバカなデカだ。 だが俺はお前のこと結構勝手だ。
自分は先輩が鬱陶しくてしょうがなかったっすよ。
まあ気持ちはわかる。
Barnes' breathing grew increasingly shallow. Only a faint wheezing sound could be heard leaking from his throat. Before long he would be unable to perceive anything anymore.
何者なんだお前。
With his consciousness fading in and out, Ben spoke one final question and in response to her pointed the mother at Ban, then gave his
魔
reply.
法使いっす。
バカが。
Before either of them could realize it, the wind had stopped blowing. The darkness had quickly turned to a place of serenity, and within it 2 figures remained frozen still. But that too remained only for an ephemeral moment. Silver's finger now curled and around the trigger slowly moved inward.
先輩に信仰の救いあれ。
Und ich würde sagen, an dem Punkt beende ich jetzt diese Folge. Okay. Taco hat wohl auch noch so ein gewisses Problem, so wie das da gerade aussieht. Aber wie gesagt, hier beende ich jetzt erstmal diese Folge. Mit der Offenbarung, dass Suva böse ist. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.